my brother to me was like he was like a dad. You know, he really helped me down, because at the time growing up, my dad wasn't around. He left me when I was like 3. But yeah, so him being there really gave me the strength to, you know, be there.
Welcome back to This is ADMI. We have taken a very, very long break. And during the break, I was very curious because up to this point, we know what has happened to Ritchy Mistri. We know the events of his life, but we don't really know how it's affecting him as a person. So we're going to take it back a dog right before we get into high school. And sorry to play therapist here. But when he mentioned that he was daydreaming a lot, well, there's a word for it, and it's called maladaptive daydreaming. It's
One more time.
maladaptive daydreaming. It's like daydreaming, but on steroids. I know because I was a victim.
Okay.
So I'm curious, perhaps maybe we can talk about that, and then we can talk about how your mental health was affected by all this change.
Oh, okay. So what's your question?
My question is, okay, we're going back to when it was rampant, which is when you were younger. So paint a picture for us, what exactly that was. Because people just think maybe, so in fact, our camera guy assumed it's schizophrenia. No, it's not. It's not. He wasn't saying, okay, I don't want to start to make this a mental health masterclass. Yes, that's Jeff. He's laughing behind the camera. I don't want to make this a mental health masterclass, but there's a difference. And maybe you can paint a clearer picture for us as to what exactly you were going through.
Okay. Well, for me, at a younger age, okay, let me see the best way I can explain this. Maybe for the viewers, if they know any of this, there was a very interesting animation on Cartoon Network called Elliot Kid. Elliot Kid. So Elliot Kid is a kid where he's very young, but the world is his oyster, and he would think of the most insane things. And of course, with his friends and everything, they would play to it. So of course, as a kid, when you're playing or captain of a pirate ship, or you're fighting space monsters or anything like that, that's how visually sometimes it used to be for me. At a younger age, of course, when you're playing cops and robbers, you feel like you're in a car. When you're running, you're driving, trying to catch someone and stuff like that, or you're playing kati, you're doing somersaults, but you're really not. So that's how it was, I think, for me. So Elliot Kid kind of now visually represents that. When I'm able to daydream now, even if I was in class, I think that was one of the biggest complaints growing up that I used to get, where I'm not present. My mind is far, and I'm thinking of so much, even things that I never thought I would at a young age. So not that because I had problems, just more of the possibility.
I love that. I love that. But from my limited understanding, which you correct me if I'm wrong, mostly it happens as a trauma response where children want to escape. So, for example, there's a friend of mine who also had this. I don't want to call it a condition. It's just something she does. And she said that it began when she was trying to escape, something traumatic happened to her, and she had to hide under the chair. And then when she was under the chair, hiding from whatever it is she was running away from, she started, because she hid there for so long, she had to imagine to entertain herself. And then it became a clutch that she holds on to even in adulthood. For me, it was in high school. I was in 844 again. The system wasn't favoring my brain. So trust me, guys, I'm brilliant, but don't ask neck. So because of not being able to gel with the system, the best way for me to go to a happy place was to create it in my mind. That's even how I ended up in FTV. So now I'm curious about you, especially since it started so young. What, do you know maybe what might have caused it?
Yeah, you bring the big guns. Yeah, that's wow, that's everything you've said is actually very true. It's funny you say that, because even for me, I think my biggest time when I would say it is an escapism was where me consistently watching movies, being in a world that's not mine. So consistently trying to watch these movies, and I mean, we'll get into it in terms of why I even chose to do film. But yeah, there's some serious amount of truth with that, because I think growing up I had also difficulties, like I've mentioned about the transitions of many schools. So it really did mess with me as a kid. You know, I thought it was me. I thought it was not good enough. Of course, some lecturers would speak ill about my being or my behavior. My folks having a hard time, also them being very critically difficult, or getting upset through and through. So I think, yeah, for me, definitely, it's a reason why I would probably space out most of the time and try at least attach to my own ability to create. But yeah, growing up now, I think about it, I'm like, yeah, that was my only way out, to feel like I'm still present, but I'm really not. So yeah, I think, yeah, that there is some truth with that when it comes to now finding my daydreaming as an escapism. Yeah.
Interesting. So I'm curious about in what other ways this instability in your childhood affected you. So the first is you held on to daydreaming as an escape. In what other ways were you affected by it?
I think what affected me, I think, also because growing up, how I grew up was very difficult. I would say not that it was pretty altogether. I did have severe amount of challenges. You know, there's a lot of weight on my mom trying to, you know, hold the family together. Of course, 3 different siblings with 3 different generations in them holding it. So there's a lot of pressure on her. That doesn't mean that pressure now came onto us, especially now me, because I'm the only one at home. And my siblings were never around because they would be, you know, up and about. My brother as well, my sis. So being at home did make me feel like I needed to find my own space to think and whatnot. It did put me in a depressive state, I think, for quite some time. But I don't know, I just kept going. I think I really wanted to do a lot more, you know, try to make them happy, make them proud, the best way I could, and the only way I could do it smart, and what I was able to do creatively, because I think I just didn't want to stop being a creative. But yeah, of course, I did steer away from it. I focused on different fields, be it on sports. I was actually, growing up, I really wanted to do a lot more sports. If it was in sciences, a lot more practical aspects and stuff. I was very curious about elements and physical, electrical wiring and stuff. So even creatively, there is aspects in creative in those kind of fields, but it was never where I am at now about film. It was more of, how does electricity flow from one point to another? How does if in cooking, I mean, I'll be at the kitchen and I'm like seeing how guys are putting ingredients together, or if it's people when they want to perform singing. Apparently, the altos, the people with what's that one, alto, bass, sopranos, yeah. So that's where my curiosity led to, not just because I want to be creative, no, being inquisitive and trying to find out how certain things work. And it was in across the spectrum of fields. So I think it did help, but not enough. I think because I could feel there was a sense in me where it's a calling. I'm just like, I'm not satisfied yet. Yeah, I was not ready enough to say this is it.
It's interesting because how you're speaking is mostly how most firstborn speak in terms of having pressure. And of course, it's no blame to the family. Like sometimes life just happens, and then there are natural consequences of life happening.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, what is this pressure that was put on you?
Ooh. The pressure that I felt maybe for me was, you know, upholding the name, or, you know, my brother, him being, of course, the firstborn, and there's a lot more pressure on him, and he did astoundingly well. Growing up, I'm sure he had also his tough challenges, especially because of what he had to do at the time. So for me, it's also trying to keep up with that. You know, me growing up, the reason why now I feel like even people my age, I find difficulties even sitting down and having conversations with them, because I'm like, not because I'm tired of them, it's just we're not talking on the same wavelength, because I had to grow up much faster to be at least in conversation with my siblings. Then 2 different generations away from me. So I'd sit down with my brother, maybe we'll have a chat, and anachoka na mimi, because it's like, because him is of course trying to relate to each other, but I realize sometimes we're talking and I choka, because again, I'm just trying to grow up. I'm just trying to at least be able to enjoy my sort of childhood that I was supposed to enjoy. My sister at the time, best of both worlds. She's able to understand what it's like being on my end and my brother's end, because she's the middle child, then now me. So for me, it was unfortunate, yes, but now I ended up trying to keep up with them. And then, like, mind you, 20, like, my brother is 20 years apart from me, my sister is 14 years apart from me, and I'm keeping up with them. So I'm able to at least keep up the engagement that we have as a family and stuff like that. Even being able to come on board, decide on different things or what we want to do as a family.
I don't know why, and I'm sorry for giving my opinion.
No, please.
I feel it sounds like such a positive. Of course, I know there are negative meanings to it, because I think, of course, the negative is maybe losing your childhood too early, but the positive is you mature faster, you're able to escape more mistakes. But then I also understand the pressure of comparison, that even if maybe it was never told to you verbatim, this is still the standard regardless, and you can't deviate from that, or you can't bring, you can't, like what you said, you have to preserve the name.
Yeah. No, I think I couldn't agree more, because having done that, yes, I did lose my ability to be still in my childhood a bit more. But again, when joining Nyahururu, that's what I meant by humbling me. It humbled me enough to know, by the way, if I'm actually going to make it out here, I need to start thinking way past what my fellow classmates and everyone are thinking about, because I think, yeah, you're right. I think I had a hard time kind of settling in with that, because it was a back and forth. Am I letting go of my childhood so I'm able to grow up enough for me to survive, or be careless and actually just choose the careless route? But yeah, I think being able to do that as well helped me a lot more in relationships with my fellow mentors, focusing on who and when to talk to, being able to understand what there are things that you need to be responsible of. And if I'm going to be of any purpose to anyone, I need to represent that and show that kind of experience. And yeah, the sad truth is, yes, I did lose most of my childhood, but I appreciate it, because even now you cannot appreciate it more, because I don't necessarily say I am who I am, because I was able to at least deal with it the best way I could.
So now I'm wondering, sorry, allow me to just add this thought.
Please.
I feel like childhood is a fantasy reserved maybe for only kids, like the ones who have no siblings. In terms of, you lost your childhood because you were growing alongside people who are older and more mature than you. And as a firstborn daughter, I lost my childhood because I had to raise another child. You understand? So I think childhood is maybe because we've not heard from people who don't. If you're a person amongst our 3 viewers, if you don't have siblings, maybe let us know how your experience was. In terms of being parentified or having to mature quickly. Because I thought maybe if I was the last born, then I'd be coddled and I'd be a child forever. But now hearing this, I'm realizing the grass is not green on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of skeptical reasons why people would say that being a last born is that you get to have it pretty well. That's not true. I think, if anything, growing up, of course, the ideal is to be like, yeah, you're free spirited, everyone loves you. But for me, it felt like I was struggling to find that love. Being able to, get time with the people I'm growing up with, my family members, because again, you're never there. And so I did my best to keep myself engaged. And I think that's why it pushed me so much to strive more. It just never felt enough. So it get to a point where I was consistently pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, and I'm like, it's still not enough. So I got to a point where I just realized maybe there is some positives with it, But had I not pushed it, I mean, it's like, it's not the aspect where people want to say, even with your own siblings or family members, even people out there, you want to be seen. You want to be seen enough to know that I am more than enough to be in this space and time.
Wow.
But I can tell you for a fact, had I not pushed, I don't think, even for me, I've been where I am today. I think I'd have lost it maybe a long time ago. Had I not at least given myself a chance to see where I could have gone with it.
Were you dismissed in your family? Sorry, I'm being so, oh God.
No, sorry.
In terms of, it sounds like you're somehow trying to prove a point. That's why it's never enough, and you're always reaching for something that you seemingly can't achieve. And something I'd assume, because now I'm on the giving end of this, unfortunately. I'm the older sibling. So sometimes I do tend to be like, you're just a kid. You understand?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering whether this is now the other side of it, where either a person can choose to just be like, I'll never get it right, or to just be an overachiever.
I think, yeah, there's some truth to that. Let me give you a case in point of with my siblings. So I guarantee you, my brother, my sister, they won't see it that way. Even though what I'm saying right now, they'll see it like, come on, you're just being a last born. You're just throwing a hiss of it. But you know what I can tell you for sure with my siblings, I look up to them. It's like, if like you said, my brother to me was like he was like a dad. You know, he really helped me down, because at the time growing up, my dad wasn't around. He left me when I was like 3. But yeah, so him being there really gave me the strength to, be there. He would, show me different routes. So yeah, I give a lot to my brother. My sister as well, being able to try to figure out a lot of with the creative nature, how trying to find our own struggles. My siblings have, of course, I look up to them more than they possibly know. But there was also the essence of the competition and being mindful that, yeah, I can also hold my own. I need to prove myself enough to say, I'm not just that little kid you think growing up, because of course we have our age gap between us. So to me, it's been a lot of that kind of back and forth, where I have a lot more to bring on the table than you think. And then for me, it's always now trying to show we'll always be family, but that doesn't mean I can hold my own. So that's how it's been for quite some time, even for them. But yeah.
Wow. I think as we conclude this chapter, the worst part about being a last born is that you're not just a last born in your family, you're a last born in life. There's one thing I've noticed when people are making comments or content about birth order. Of course, the last ones will make memes about how their child is, they are crybabies and whatnot. And sometimes I'll make videos about being a firstborn daughter, and then last ones will be in the comments being like, yeah, I'm the last one and I've experienced this and I've experienced this. So I feel like you're not just unheard in the family, you're not heard. Like, people don't listen to you even in real life. So you constantly have to keep defending yourself, that just because I came last doesn't mean I don't think.
No, of course, no, yeah, 100%. But I think for what it's worth, even now, is that I came to terms with understanding that it's not just you enough to be a person to give information, or even just people that you want to relate with. It's just choosing what is good for you is enough. I think not everyone that they say is true or accurate. It's like, I'd rather you find it out for yourself. And I told them the same thing. It's like, I'd rather figure it out for myself. If it's wrong, then I'm wrong. I'll use your life experience as a teaching avenue, but I need to find out for myself.
Oh, yes.
If not, then I'm not doing any justice to get to where I need to get. So even if we be friends, mentors and stuff, hear them out, try it, apply it. But that doesn't mean you're not of your own mind to kind of say, hey, I gotta see this through. It might be insane, it might be a lot of risk, but I need to see this through. But be responsible enough to take the consequences. Whatever happens with that, you take that to your chin, respectfully. It's tough out there, you take it up with every grain of salt, and then you learn from it and you keep pushing.
Amazing. Yes, life is not a one size fits all. So I completely agree with what you're saying. So right before we close this, I want us to circle back to maladaptive daydreaming.
Yes, please. Was I daydreaming?
And again, sorry for the millionth time to make this about myself. I apologize, dear 3 listeners. I'm saying that so that I can guilt trip everyone else to listen, in case my intentions weren't clear. So, personally, the reason why I got into FTV was because I realized that the fantasies I was having were not happening in real life. Then I decided maybe I can make this happen in a film. So that's how I started writing scripts. And basically that's how my creativity manifested. So I just want to see the connection between, because maladaptive daydreaming, let me preface it with this. It's the negatives of it is that certain people they chronically latch on to it that they forget to live life.
True.
Yes. But the positives of it, the negatives of it again, it's almost, my friend was explaining this to me, that it's almost like a manic episode if you've heard about bipolar. Okay. I'm sorry for making this a mental health masterclass, guys. I promise walk with me. This is going somewhere. So you can get so accustomed to leaning on it that you forget to actually go out and do the real stuff that will make these amazing things that happen in your head happen in real life. So, but the positives, which are very little, is that it makes you really creative. So I'm just curious about the correlation between you fantasizing and just seeing things it's on schizophrenia. Let's just call it maladaptive daydreaming and your creative side.
Okay.
Yeah. Beyond high school.
I think for me, the maladaptive daydreaming, is that what it's called?
Yes.
The daydreaming bit of me, 100%, because, and I think being able to still have it, I use it as an asset more than it being me just, sitting down and I'm, oh, sorry, what were we talking about? No. So my point with that, I think I used it as an asset because visually thinking about certain things, I'm like, I have already preempted it in my head enough to know, even with direction or shooting, whatever I need to shoot, it's all these different possibilities or probabilities of things that I have already seen play out in different angles or different scenes or whatnot, being able to now visually tell it. And if anything, that's, I feel, is my greatest asset. Being able to actually build it from scratch, even without having to write something. I could wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, my mind is running like a machine and I'm like, okay. It could be 4 in the morning and I'm putting my phone on record. I'm like, okay, so this scene happens and I'm like this, and I wake up in the morning and I'm like, what did I say? Because with that process of daydreaming, it has been a challenge growing up, but I think it's the best thing that has ever happened to me as well, because it like you said, it has its negatives, it has its positive. The negative being is that it has been my escape route. Me being obsessed with movies even till now. Just I want to watch movies, I want to watch series, I want to watch animations, and put myself there, and I will watch it for hours and then I'm trying to run away from my real world. But then when I apply it to my real world, it does come in such full force, because now I'm in control of creating something that has never been done before. So,
interesting.
yeah.
I have a feeling, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I know I'm not. This is one of the most unique conversations you're going to hear about creativity. Have you had such a conversation anywhere?
No, actually, this is a first. I didn't think, because growing up then I never thought about that way, about daydreaming, because I knew I should daydream a lot, or just being my mind I'm just spaced out because I'm thinking about because when running like that, I just never. It's like, to be honest, what you've said, I've just realized now. Actually, part of the reason why my abilities are doing well is because of that daydreaming.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, this is ADMI. Are you subscribed? Are you enrolling? Are you going to come here so that you can also go through? Let me tell you, before we get you on that seat, you have to have gone through the education, whatever. You have graduated, you've interned, you are in the real world doing real things, and then we bring you back here so that you can inspire other creators. And that's why Ritchy is here. So if you want to be like Ritchy, if you want to one day sit across from me, the first step is please come next week. September intake is ongoing. All the contact information is in the comment section. This is where your passion. Wait. What? Nasemanga nini? This is where creativity. This is ADMI. I'll see you after the break. Bye.